UFC Fight Night takes place. No, UFC Fight Night. UFC Fight Night Hernandez versus Pereira takes place this Sunday, 20th of October at 1 a.m. South African time. Watch me break down the main card in this week's Fighting with Friends. Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the CPS Report. It's your boy, brother Gaia, coming at you with another UFC Fight Night preview. This time I am previewing Hernandez versus Pereira. As you can see, I am alone, but you will catch the panel with me when we do our recap this weekend. Let me bring up for you the fight card that I'm going to be breaking down this week. Okay, we are starting with the main event. We have Anthony Hernandez versus Michel Pereira, the wild man. But that's with all the respect, obviously. This fight is a very, very intriguing matchup between two gentlemen who I think is quite savagery. Probably the best way to describe these two fighters. But I'll start with Anthony Hernandez. He's currently ranked number 13 in the middleweight division where Ricker still hails as king. His record currently stands at 12 wins, 2 losses, and 0 no contests. He's got 2 wins by KO, 8 wins by sub, and 5 first round finishes. The striking accuracy comes in at 59% for Anthony Hernandez, as well as a 63% takedown defense. He's very well rounded. But what's amazing about Anthony Hernandez is that the next two statistics I'm going to bring up is quite amazing. He's got a 4.3 significant strikes landed per minute on average, as well as a 6.62 takedown average per 15 minutes. That's boss level. That's boss level. He's quite aggressive. He's currently on a 5-fight win streak, beating Kopilov in his last outing with a second round rear naked choke submission, beating Edmund Shabazian by third round TKO, and also Mark Barriol by third round submission. The most noticeable win for me is the one over Kopilov. I thought he was outstanding in that fight and sort of a little bit won me over. I'm slowly but surely becoming a fan of Anthony Hernandez. I think he's making his way up slowly but surely. He's progressively, tearing up the scene and making his way up the middleweight division. He's taken on someone who is arguably one of the most dangerous opponents in the middleweight division, just because of his unpredictability and his wildness. It's probably the best way to describe him in Michel Pereira. He's currently ranked number 14 in the middleweight division. His record speaks for itself. It's 31 wins and 11 losses with 0 no contests. He's got 8-fight winning streak as it stands, 11 wins by KO and 9 wins by submission. This is what I find quite amazing. 54% striking accuracy, considering how often he actually throws strikes. That's a very, very high percentage of landing of strikes. A 94% takedown defense. That's obviously extremely high. And then also his significant strikes landed per minute stands at 5.16. In his last outing, he beat Ponzinibbio by a split decision and Petrosky with a first round KO, as well as Oli Zayshek by first round submission. The matchup is quite intriguing because one of the most outstanding traits about Anthony Hernandez is that he has a very good ability of switching up between takedowns and striking. He knows how to sort of hide and use the full range of wrestling, keeping you down, looking for submissions, and also no slouch when it comes to the feet as well. He's got a good boxing ability. He knows how to utilize very good his reach. In this fight, he does have the reach advantage as well, so that makes him very, very dangerous. Michel Pereira, again, what makes him most dangerous is that he's got this very vast range of striking, and he can utilize it from doing some capoeira things. He's got very good boxing, very good low kicks, very good tips, and also when it comes to wrestling exchanges, probably one of the best scramblers in the middleweight division. He moves around like a lightweight in terms of how he scrambles, and that's really scary. So which means it's very difficult to hold him down, and that's pretty much where Anthony Hernandez, I think, can get the job done, is if he's able to hold his own in the boxing exchanges. I think this is a 5-round fight, so if he survives the first 2 rounds of Michel Pereira's onslaught, he might be able to again pick up the pace, which is what he does really well. And Pereira has he's notorious for losing his stamina, especially after the second round. He goes into the third round a little bit slower. Though that last fight against Ponzinibbio, he went all the way. But you did see him sort of fade round 3, round 4, and then he had to really dig deep to come out in the 5th round. I think Anthony Hernandez is a killer. I think he's patient. I think that's what's going to make him probably get the job done. Maybe even get the finish in round 4. Round 4, round 5, get to finish there. If not, he probably wins the fight by unanimous decision. So that's going to be my pick for this one. Yeah, is Anthony Hernandez getting the job done over the 5 rounds. A little bit more methodical, picks his shots a little bit better, but still very savagery. He does know how to get the job done. He doesn't know how to pull the kill shot when it's necessary. Whereas Pereira is a bit of the reckless one. He goes in to get you out of there as quickly as possible. But if he must, he can sort of survive the 5 rounds. But I do think that Anthony Hernandez is going to be the one that's more of the hotter prospect right now. He's more up and coming in that regard. And I think he's going to utilize his reach and get the job done over 5 rounds. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets the finish in the 4th. But let me know what you think. It's a very intriguing matchup. I know some of you are going to go with Michel Pereira, but why wouldn't you? I mean, he's extremely entertaining and also very, very dangerous. But let me know in the comments what you think about this one. Who you're going to put your money on in this main event. It's a mouth-watering fight. For sure. Let's keep it moving, ladies and gentlemen, to the co-main event. We've got Rob Font taking on Kyler Phillips in the bantamweight division, and also like the main card, a very good co-main event because it's stylistically a very good matchup. Obviously, Rob Font, he was in the top of the food chain when it comes to the bantamweight division. Just literally like a year and a half, almost 2 years ago, he was in the top 5, and now currently ranked as the number 10 bantamweight. His record stands at 20 wins, 8 losses, and 0 no contests. 9 wins by KO, 4 wins by submission, and 9 first round finishes. Probably one of the best boxers in the division, if you ask me. If it's like that boxing match, really good boxing, and probably one of the heaviest hands as well. He's got very big fists. His strike and accuracy stands at 46% with a also 46% takedown defense and a 5.53 significant strikes landed per minute. He lost to Davison Figueiredo in his last outing, as well as Corey Sandhagen in his last 2 fights. Prior to that one, he beat Adrian Yanez by KO, beautiful KO, and also, like I said, fought the top of the food chain in the division. On the other hand, in the blue gloves, we have Kyler Phillips, who's currently ranked at number 12 in the bantamweight division. 5 wins by KO, 2 wins by submission, and 5 first round finishes. He's got a 46% striking accuracy with a 75% takedown defense, and also pretty active with significant strikes with 5.72 per minute. That's really good. 3-fight winning streak between Pedro Munoz and Song Yodong. Those are his noticeable ones. And to be quite honest, I've kind of felt that Kyler Phillips would have been a little bit higher ranked at this point. I mean, he's been in the UFC for quite some time, but maybe it seems like he's been patient with his game, which is probably the smartest thing to do. You don't want to rush to get to the top too quickly. And I think he should also take his time and go through the gears, go through the ranking at the pace that he's going at right now. Because I think as it stands, I think he's just outside of that top 5, outside of that top 10. And I think going up against Rob Font would really see where he's at. If he doesn't get past Rob Font, then he still has some way to go. Because Rob Font has been in there with the killers of the division. And I think rank 10 kind of puts him as the gatekeeper now. And I don't think his fight plays out. I think Rob Font's got the better boxing. I don't know if he has the better wrestling. I think Kyler Phillips has got the better wrestling. Kyler Phillips has to obviously utilize the full range of wrestling and striking. But if he doesn't, then it stays a standing matchup. Just comes down to the hands. I think Rob Font gets the job done. Possibly even knocking Kyler Phillips out round 2, maybe even round 3. I don't see an early finish for either of the gentlemen. I think Rob Font is more methodical these days, so he might even just get the job done by unanimous decision or possible KO in the later rounds. But I'd love to hear your thoughts. I mean, for Rob Font, if he does that, it solidifies him as a top 10 guy. Obviously, there's no doubt in that. For Kyler Phillips, is a bit more riding on the fight for me. I think he's got a longer path at the moment because he's a bit of a younger fighter, so he can make a run for the title. So I think there's more to lose for Kyler Phillips than there is for Rob Font in this one. So that makes for a fantastic co-main event. Give me your thoughts, please, in the comments. What do you think this fight? Who do you think gets the W in this one? But for now, we will move on. So the rest of the card, I'm just gonna kind of breeze through them, just because the matchups are a little interesting. They're not necessarily the ones that are most, how do I say, intriguing. It'll bring you to the TV, but however, it is still the UFC. They are still going to be the many fights as well. So let's do it. Charles Johnson versus Samu Daiji. Not too familiar with both of these guys, so I'm gonna kind of skip that one. If I'm gonna give a coin flip here, I'll probably go with Charles Johnson, but not really. But let me know what you think. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that one. Brady Haystand versus Jake Hadley. I will touch base on this one a little bit because I have watched Brady before. I've watched him in the Ultimate Fighter. I think it was season 29, if I'm not mistaken. And I watched him fight in that competition, and he was really good. His wrestling was probably the best in the house at that time. Very relentless, very powerful. Actually, when he gets you down, he gets you down. He doesn't stop pushing for takedowns. I think that's obviously where his bread and butter is at. Some decent grounding power, some decent submissions as well. Jake Hadley, on the other hand, he's pure striker. Just a fantastic striker. These British guys are very, very good. Excuse me. But he doesn't necessarily have the best wrestling game. So he has to watch out. This is another stylistic matchup here. If Jake Hadley gets taken down, he probably loses the fight by submission. If Brady doesn't get the fight down soon enough, he probably loses the fight by stand up. But he can bang. He's got the reach advantage as well. He can bang for sure. But obviously he wants to take it to the ground because that's where he's best. And the sooner he gets it there, the sooner he gets himself a fantastic W. But he's up against someone that is relentless as well with the hands. Jake Hadley's got some fast boxing. So stylistically, I think I'm going to go with Brady. I think Brady gets the job done, possibly get a submission in round 2. If not in round 2, he's going to get the job done over the course of the 3 rounds by unanimous decision. But let me know your thoughts, ladies and gentlemen. Like, know who you think gets the job done over there. Darren Elkins versus Daniel Pineda. I thought Darren Elkins was retired, to be honest. I had no idea he's still in the UFC. But he's taking on Daniel Pineda, who also has, as you can see on screen, a fantastic record. Has been around the block. I don't think this fight plays out. I think Daniel Pineda he does have better boxing for me. He's a lot less of a brawler, but more of a slick boxer. His jabs are really good. Whereas Daniel Elkins is more of the rough and tough, just all-out brawler, mauler, good wrestler. And stylistically, they're pretty even. I think Daniel Pineda is just going to have a bit more in the pocket. Probably land a bit cleaner and get Darren out of there round 1, round 2, TKO. So I see that job, how that fight ends. And then the prelims, I wish this fight was on the main card, to be honest, because it's a fight that we can see movement in the flyweight division, because this is 2 ranked opponents. Mateusz Nicolau is currently ranked number 7 in the flyweight division, whereas Azu Almabayev is ranked number 14, fighting out of Kazakhstan. This fight could easily end up in a very, very wild grappling exchange, and that's what makes it so exciting, because Mateusz Nicolau is a very good grappler. Also has got competent hands when it comes to the standing, but obviously his bread and butter is the jiu-jitsu. That's where he's really, really good. And then we're obviously going to see Asu, who we know has got the Kazakhstan wrestling, the Dagestan wrestling style, or let me just say the Russian wrestling style, to sort of like just put it under one branch. There are some subtle differences. Asu is obviously going to come in with that kind of wrestling, only losing twice. He's got a fantastic wrestling, striking as well, and also pushes the pace, almost like Umar Nurmagomedov. So really pacey, got good hands, good boxer, but also knows how to hold his own when it comes to the grappling exchanges. So I think this fight's going to be played out in that position, where both men are going to come in to see who's going to push the pace with the hands first. But it won't take long before either one sort of shoots for the takedown and sort of get the fight to the ground first, because both guys, that's where they're best at. Or it could end up where they cancel each other out and they end up just boxing, and the one who gets the knockout first is the one who wins. I'm going to tip it towards Asu Almabayev, because it's very difficult to bet against the Russian wrestlers. Although I am a Mateusz Nicolau fan, I really dig his style. He's almost like a smaller version of Mateusz Gamrot. Very similar style, just slightly smaller. Well, actually, a lot smaller, but just very similar blueprint in terms of how they fight. And I think he might come up short here against Asu, to be quite honest. But let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I really wish this was actually on the main card. The fight makes sense for me. And then obviously the rest of the card, we see another tough Ultimate Fighter winner, Brad Katono, taking on Gene Matsumoto. Haven't seen Gene Matsumoto fight. Brad Katono is a very good wrestler. Likes to hold you down and use the ground and pound, maybe get submissions. It's probably what he's going to do. But he might come up short against Jean, who's also a very good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner. And then we move down the list. Jessica Penne, who I thought was retired, is now fighting, which is quite interesting to see. Looking forward to that. I might actually, yeah, I'll be awake for that one for sure, but I will definitely catch the main card. But that's all the time I have, ladies and gentlemen. This is UFC Fight Night, Hernandez versus Pereira live this Sunday, 20th of October at 1 a.m. South African time from the UFC Apex Las Vegas. You can catch myself and the rest of the panel that will be doing the recap this weekend, Sunday, as well as we will catch a One Championship Friday Fights 83 recap as well. You can look for the preview of that. It will be dropping this Thursday on our page at 3 p.m. South African time. On that note, stay safe, stay blessed, and you will catch us on the next one. Cheers.